Welcome to the RV Pro Talk podcast, hosted by Keith Shomaker, co-owner of Redlands Truck and RV, and Brad Killgore, owner of Custom Shops Marketing. We created the show to connect the RV repair world, provide trusted resources, whether you're just starting your RV repair shop or you've been at it for decades. Hopefully you enjoy it, and we're here to help. All right. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Brad Killgore here with RV Pro Talk, and I'm here with Keith Shomaker from Redlands RV, and
Hello,
I'm
guys.
Custom
Everybody.
Shops Marketing. So, Keith and I, we've had some really good conversations lately about what we're going to talk about today, and that's kind of the customer journey or customer satisfaction, and how that ties into the online world with online reputation, online reviews, and where it's all headed, and what as a shop owner you need to be aware of, and all the key insights of what's important and what's not these days. So I know Keith had some ideas on this, because he's been at this for his whole life, and customers are are an interesting breed no matter what. So if you want to open it up, Keith, I'll let you open up the can.
Yeah. Yep. Thanks, Brad. I appreciate you having me on. And it is a good subject. And in the time that I've had to think about what we're doing and how we do it, I've realized that as a business owner or a business principal, whatever you might be, you probably need to take the unwelcome step of putting yourself in your customer's shoes and visiting your own establishment. Probably going to have to be mentally or some other method than in physical, because they'll figure you out. But you need to go through the process, and you need to make sure that it's attractive, I think, and smooth to the customer. And thinking about this earlier, we try to call that qualifying a customer and getting that information, getting as much information from them up front, so we can make sure that we're the appropriate service center for them. That's what it really is.
Sure.
And I know that a lot of our shops are like, hey man, some of our customers tell us the truth, some of them don't, but you need to ask some questions. I think up front is something that gets lost. The things that we can do as business principals, business owners, business managers, in qualifying our customer. And you know what? You ask some different questions. Hey man, what year is your motorcycle? Oh, it's a 1972. I can't get parts for the, is it an Eagle? I can't get parts for that anymore. I can't even let you bring it in. That's qualifying a customer. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't know anything about motorcycles. I don't know why I use that example, but in the RV world, man, if someone's calling us and it's a 2000 or older, yeah, not only do we not want to work on it, but when we get done working on it, the step isn't going to work, and the left turn signal isn't going to work, and and we had nothing to do with it. So it's going to be what we call them wedding ring. It's another wedding ring that we're going to have running around out there that we're going to be responsible for, just because we touched it last. Well, let's qualify that customer. Hey, Mrs. Davis, we love you. We have an option for you now on your next time you need something. I want you to call this other shop. They're better equipped to deal with your make and model.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. Would we be doing that if we didn't have any business? Nope. I would take anything. So we're very fortunate. We're an established business. Lucky. I'm telling you right now, we're very, very lucky. But we keep our success going because we are able to communicate to our customers ahead of time. And you know what? I think people realize that they don't want to come visit us with an older coach, because we want to fix everything, man. We can't stand it if they got a brake fluid leak and the tires are rotten and the batteries are, we can't, it just drives us crazy. We want to fix it all. And what the guys are explaining to me is on those year older coaches is that we can't get parts. So even if we want to fix it and we're capable of, we can't get the hold down or we can't get the bracket or those things. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating for us, frustrating for the customers, frustrating for everybody. So I think a big portion of the of making sure the customer has a good experience starts with us as business principals, owners, managers, and making sure that we're actually dealing with who we want to, that we're actually being able to deliver our services to the appropriate people.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. And I mean, for me personally, after living on the road for several years, I've seen people in some really old coaches, and I'm thinking, wow, these guys are brave or crazy, one of the two, because those
So
things are like a they're like a
yeah,
jalopy, you know.
I was I told you I was at the Newmar rally Monday and Tuesday, uh, Palm Desert, California, Emerald Desert RV Park, beautiful place. Blah blah blah. I'm out front waiting, looking, watching. I was early for the stuff. It's probably a 99 or 98 Winnebago pulls in and decals are coming off and da da da. He hops out, she hops out. They got a big giant smile on their face, happy as a lark. They've been driving. It looks like they've been driving this thing forever, all over the world. And I'm like, right on, man. In fact, I went and got a knee saver out of the back of my truck and and handed it to him. He's like, "What's this for?" And I said, "That's to for when you're hooking and unhooking your car, your tow car." And he goes, I've never had one of these. And I get it. And I'm like, man, I'm glad this coach isn't in our place.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
I would be telling him about his tires and we'd be wanting to put wipers on, it's, it's okay to be good. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with loving what you do and your craft and whatever you're working on.
Well, it almost makes sense that somebody has such a classic, for lack of a better word, coach. They need to maybe see a custom guy to kind of retrofit the thing and
Yeah.
redo it, you know,
Yeah.
because
And what they're finding is their service center that they've had forever is out of business or, um, uh, the new owners and they don't want to do it anymore, can't, or they're not working on motorhomes anymore. They're, now we're doing track. I don't know. So
right,
the repair world's shrinking quickly,
yeah.
and for those successful shops that are not hanging on, but that are taking an active role in the repairs that are out there and available for us. We have a response. I tell people all the time, hey man, you charge a lot of money, Keith. We do. We're probably the most expensive per labor rate of all the shops, even the dealerships that are around us. But if I'm not in business, then I can't deliver my brand of service to my customers. And we have 3,000-4,000 customers that we consider that can come in on a regular basis, and we've got to be able to take care of them. If I'm not in business for 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 whatever reason, then I can't be there to serve them. So it starts with us, and it should. I think the customer experience should start with us as principals, and it should stay with us all the way through.
That's right. Well, and you know, the whole customer interaction thing has really evolved, I think, from my perspective, being an internet marketer, for businesses in general, because it's just changed to the point where, now, as shop owners, any business owner, you're kind of, you're really doing your best to make sure the customer's happy, which should have been the point all along. But now you get these people, we all want to get positive reviews on Google and that type of thing. But then you
Mm-hmm.
get these people that no matter what you do, they just can't be, they're just not pleased, or they're
Yeah.
just psychotic, for lack of a better word. And
Yep.
and and you just can't please them, and they just always want to nitpick stuff
Yeah.
and point things out.
And here's what I do with those. I realize, and I make myself repeat it to myself 100 times or whatever it takes, that this person that's complaining that doesn't make whatever, if it doesn't make sense, they're complaining for whatever reason, and the best thing you can do is realize that it's just one out of 100. or 1 out of 50 or whatever it might be, and that they don't have the floor, and they're not the popular opinion of what you're doing or how you're operating your business. And you know what? None of us are perfect, and we everybody, every business has personality or multiple personalities. We have 4 or 5 service advisors that you can come talk to, and I'm sure that if somebody didn't have a good experience with an advisor the last time, if they choose to come back, which is extremely important, if they choose to come back, maybe they seek out a different advisor. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so here's I think a couple of ways that we've softened our blow when it comes to us presenting ourselves to our customer. Brad, you've been instrumental in helping us with this. We are asking our customer to communicate with us ahead of their appointment, and text us their information, so it's, they feel, I hopefully they feel comfortable, or email us the coach information, what's going on with it, your schedule, get everything you can ahead of time. It's invariable. People say, hey man, I just want to bring my RV in for an oil change. Okay. We got a 1 hour slot next Thursday. Well, they come in and it's 3 pages of, okay, in addition, you're like, whoa, hold on. So again, I guess qualifying and softening the blow. If we can get that information ahead of time, you're like, hey, Mrs. Davis, you mentioned you just want an oil change, but we got 6 weeks worth of work here. Oh, you
Yeah.
can't do it all next Thursday in 1 hour.
No.
I can change the oil, like we said, but what's important here? So then, from that experience, we've also allowed them to continue to text us live, all day long, work days, and decent times on the afternoon and evenings. My guys have answered texts and questions, 8, 9 p.m. at night. And the email stuff that comes through you, Brad, for us, the text for referrals, it's just another way for our customers to feel really comfortable with putting them in charge of the communication with us.
Yeah.
And I like that. Hey man, this is the to me, when I'm communicating with a business, I like being in charge. The most frustrating thing for me, and it happens way too much, is I have a communication with a vendor or a business, and we get our paths crossed, like, whoa, somebody didn't communicate clearly here. So I think allowing the customer the ability to be in charge of the communications is something that works well for us.
Sure. Well, and it's evolving too, I mean, even a few years back, businesses weren't you didn't have the ability to text a business, or, even years before that, you weren't necessarily able to go on a public forum like Google
Yeah.
or Facebook and leave a review.
Mhm.
And so it's just changed so much. And I always tell customers too that, if somebody leaves you a review, good, bad, or indifferent, respond to those reviews. You have that ability, we'll talk about Google specifically. Respond to those reviews. If it's a good review, thank them, maybe put a personal
Yep.
touch on there. You can even do some of that stuff with AI now. We can set things up that automatically responds to them in a
Yep.
professional manner. And by
And
by
thanks,
all means,
and
if
thanks
it's a
for the
negative,
reminder. I need to do that. I
yeah,
haven't.
and by all means, if it's a negative review, tell your side of the story, because as consumers, we all know when we're looking at somebody's online reputation, their reviews, and you see, 500 good reviews and 2 crappy ones, you already know that this shop has a great reputation and that there's just going to be some difficult customers no matter what you do, or difficult situations, but
And
address it, take ownership.
yep. But here, I'll tell you what. We had and that's the reason I don't do Yelp. Just had a horrible experience 10 years ago, uh, from Quartzite, and we deserved it. We didn't do something right. We used parts from 2 different kits to make one kit work. It was the last day. It was a bummer for everybody, including the customer. She just drug us back and forth, and we deserved it. And my everybody tell, oh, you need to do this, you have to do that, tell her this, and tell her do this, say that, man. You know, I had a lot of people telling me what to do. And I went on there and I said, you know what? Absolutely. She's absolutely right. We did all this. It was wrong. And
Right.
that's why I wrote her check number 271. And the check was for $2,174. And I wrote it to her name and she cashed it. So we're good. Everybody's whole here. You know, we screwed up and I made it right. And everybody needs to move on.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Yelp wouldn't put it up there where people could see it. And,
Yeah.
you know, unless I paid or joined their, yeah, I don't get me
They're not
started.
my favorite.
Anyway,
Yeah, they're
anyway,
definitely
you're in charge of it. And don't respond to that right away. And don't say, hey, lady, you're wrong. I'm right. I'm not saying you have to agree with her. And I'm not saying you need to even put your side of the story, but you need to do it after you've calmed down
right.
and had a chance to think about what's right. Now, put your, in this case, do exactly what we're asking you to do with your customer in the first place and put yourself in their shoes. You know, what is it that they're, what's going on here? You know, is this response only going to make it worse? Is it going to continue this problem? So to me, you ought to, whatever means you need to do to bring a negative response to a closure, you need to do it. And you just need to do it professionally.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of times, I've seen it happen where a customer left a nasty review and, the business owner communicated with them, on the phone or whatever it was, made the situation right. And then asked the person, would you be willing to change your review to say we've rectified it? And they're like, yeah, they will.
And this just hit me, Brad. But you know what? Let's go back to what we just started with. And if and I don't want to say the customer's in charge of the communication, but I want the customer to feel like they're empowered, that they can
Yeah.
communicate with us at any time, and they can talk to anybody and get the same answer. Uh, I want them to feel good about contacting us, whether it's in person, phone, email, text, whatever. So if they feel comfortable with it, we should never get to the point where they're leaving a nasty review. You
Right.
know, hey, Mrs. Davis, you're here picking up your vehicle. How did we do? Everything's great. All the stuff hey, you know what? Let's go out of our way. Let's show Mrs. Davis how the water pump works. Let's show her where the new turn on switch for the new inverter is.
Yeah.
Let's take 5 minutes and explain our repair. Now, when she leaves and she's happy, it doesn't make sense that she did this nasty review, and she's not going to do this nasty review because we took 5 minutes at the end of the customer experience. Yep, we had some up front. We qualified them, made sure that we're able to deliver our brand of service to this customer. We stayed in touch with them, made it easy for them to contact us, texting, emails, so on. And you got to beat your service advisors and general managers across the head and say, hey, man, let's get contact going again. Contact these people. Their vehicle, their motorcycle, their RV has been with us 6 weeks. We haven't told them what's going on. Let's update them. Send them an email, text
Yep.
them. Let them know you're open, whatever. But keep their conversation going. And then obviously near or towards the end of whatever repair or service that's being happened, just get back in touch with them.
Yeah. The communication is so important, you
You
know.
know, with what we do, a lot of the times the customer's with us. We have our little RV park date that we work on motorhomes and people travel in them. But our customers are considered, most of them are considered snowbirds, and some of them may or may not have a house. They live in this thing full time, and they travel where the weather is favorable to them. And Southern California happens great weather, but it happens to be in a good location between, um, you know, uh, colder weather, British Columbia, Oregon, Washington, blah 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 blah. In the winter, people come down here, obviously, get it. They go right past us and on their way to Arizona or southeast Arizona or southwest, wherever they want to be, and enjoy their time. So when they're with us, they're able to, if they stay with us at our RV park and we're doing a repair, they see us 3 or 4 times a day. So
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
we feel comfortable and confident that they're okay because we're in contact with them and there's no chance for a miscommunication.
Right.
Um, those things bring their own troubles. We have customers standing on the technician's toes. It's difficult. It's, hey, can you get my technician? Can you back off?
Yeah.
And it gets that way. Um, but we're in that instance, we're able to manage that expectation. Now, I have a lot of customers that drop their vehicles off. They just drop them off. They drop them off on Saturdays and Sundays. Leave the keys in a secret location, and we start to work on it the next week. And we again, that's our job, is to reach out and communicate with them, and make sure that they know that they get a hold of us at any time and talk about anything.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
I know you and I have talked about it and you've seen it, but something new that we're going to be doing is an intake sheet and inspection. And it's going to be, what I want is, I want the service advisors to do it instead of the mechanics.
Right.
Right now, our inspection is the first thing on every work order, but if we're not working on that coach until next Tuesday, then that inspection's not going to get done until next Tuesday. And what happens then is it actually doesn't get done the way that we want it to. And we discovered that it's not getting done the way we want it to, and it's not being shared with the customer. In fact, it was being shared with the customer at the end of their experience. So imagine, here's an inspection on your vehicle. You're leaving. I want to give you this inspection that we did 2 weeks ago.
Right.
So we've changed all of that. We're using the intake sheet as another opportunity to communicate with the customer. Yes, here's a snapshot of your vehicle. Here's the dates of your tires. This is important in the RV world, probably not too many other places, but here's the dates of your tires. Here's a quick visual inspection of about 10 different things that we think are important. And this is just a quick, easy snapshot for you to see what your coach condition is today. And here's some recommendations that we want to make, and here's some products that the other customers that come in on a regular basis absolutely love. And it's going to be another way for us to be able to work with and manage the communication with our customer.
Well,
My goal is that this customer has this attractive inspection at home,
yeah.
and they're like, honey, come look at this, what's this thing, what's an anti-sway bar, what Coney shocks, look it up, honey, pull that up, and we're pulling up Coney shocks, and now they're in charge.
Yeah.
Now they get to, at their leisure, they get to see this stuff and say, hey, we have a Ford liquid spring, babe, look at this liquid, they do liquid spring, holy moly. And really, Brad, you and I need to talk about that. That's something else that, getting into a specialty, that's helped us as a company too. Anyway.
Sure. Well, what better time to educate your customer is at the beginning of the cycle, Like you said, you don't want to present them with this stuff when they're driving out and they just paid already, you know.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
and and so there you go. Make sure that you're not perfect,
Right.
because if you think you're perfect, you're not going to be able to serve your customer.
Oh,
I just shook. And it's me. I'm the owner. I'm the one that's responsible for us doing it or not doing it. So I'm not blaming anybody. I'm looking in the mirror and
sure.
I'm feeling and going, holy moly. But yeah, we do. And uh, our shop. I want my guys to be safe, and I want our work to be done in such a way that our customers come back.
Yes.
And that means that my guys have either gone out of their way to make sure their repair is perfect, and that my shop manager and my general manager have inspected it or feel comfortable with it or test driven it, that we've delivered the service that we are being paid for and that we're known for.
Yeah.
That's what we need to make sure that that's what we're doing on a daily, regular basis. And the best way to do that is to ask your customer, hey, is everything going okay? Yep, it is. And if it's not, they'll tell you, nope. How come the fan motor I don't know. Let's find out. Let's get a hold of parts, and they'll tell us, hey, it'll be here tomorrow. Here's
Yeah.
the tracking number, and that's what you want to hear. You don't want to hear, I don't know, yeah, my God.
Uh,
And obviously, if your customer hears that, guess what kind of reviews coming.
yeah. Not the
So
best one for
yeah,
sure.
and we put you helped us with our review card on the service advisor's desk, so it's really easy for our customer to open up their phone, open up their camera, and open up the QR code that comes to them. It does take them right to our Google site, and they do have to have a Google account, and then they do have to be signed in. um, I had to explain this to my service advisors that that's okay. That even though that's really inconvenient for someone, it's okay for us to ask them to go through these extraordinary steps for
Yeah.
the customer to be able to say what a great experience they had with us.
Yeah.
And I'm being facetious, and I hope that people pick it up because I could not believe what my service team was trying to tell me with a review card. They're like, we're not, in essence, we're not going to use it because it doesn't instantly happen. And I said, oh, yes, you are. And
Yeah.
you're going to get several reviews every day. And
Yeah.
if not, then we're going to have some trouble. And you go to Redlands Truck and RV, and you can see that our last review was probably 3 or 4 hours ago or something. And
Yeah.
it was remarkable. Here's the deal. We're not, if something didn't go right with the job, we're not asking them to give us a review. So we're in
Sure.
charge of that. We're allowed to do that. And you're allowed to do that as a business person.
Yep.
But if something's not going right, you better get a hold of it, and you better say, hey, let's mitigate these situation. Let's make the best of the worst or whatever's happening. But certainly you're not going to ask them to give you a review.
Right. Well, another thing that we did for your website recently was really showcase your reviews, make them
Yeah.
easy to find because in the world we live in, they want to find out what other people think. So we've made it real easy for them to
Yep.
see what other people have put, but also it's another one click for them to write a review right from your website.
Well, and here, if we're talking to the business owner right now, or the business principal, or what, look at Redlands Truck and RV a year ago, and our review. If we had a review, it was 2 years old or 3 years old, and it was generic and not whatever, it was. But today, my gosh, look at them. They're rolling in on a regular basis, and it's
Yeah.
because me as an owner, I said, this is what I want. I want regular 5-star reviews on if it's 5 a day, great. We write 130 work orders on average at our shop, but around 100, between 100, whatever, a lot. Divide that by the 22 work days in a month,
Yeah.
and that's a lot of work that's coming out of it. And there's no reason that we shouldn't be able to get 5, 10 incredible reviews every day.
Yeah.
I I mean, we're unique in that we get an opportunity to go talk to large groups of RV owners, and in those groups, a lot of times are our customers. And again, I know I said it, but I was just there 2 days with a 100, 200 people, 50, 60 coaches at a Newmar rally close by, and I got to tell you, man, 5 or 6 of them stepped up and said, this I went to this shop in Redlands, and this guy did this and they did that, and unbelievable. I've never had an RV experience like it. One lady stands up and said, you know what? I'm tired of hearing about how incredible their service is. She goes, I don't think I've ever stayed at a better RV park. And I'm like, oh man. So,
Wow.
and I asked her, I go, hey, were you there before it was paved? And she said, yeah. So we paved it recently, and big difference for the customer, greater experience, less dust, blah, 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 blah.
Oh yeah.
Is
Well,
that going to lead to a good review? I don't know.
and
You know,
ironic.
I don't, there's some things I'm proud of it all, but, review us for our service and how you were treated. That's
Yeah.
what I want, because that's what we, that's what we work on every single day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what we beat ourselves up for.
Yeah.
My
Well,
and my guys are tired of me. They're ready for me to go on vacation or something. They're tired of me in their business telling them that we got to do stuff this way and that way.
sure. Well, I
And
mean,
if you're the owner or the principal in a business, you there's times when you have to say no. I don't care. There's 20 of you out there in the shop. No, we're not doing it your way. Because I guarantee you, if there's 20 technicians, there's 15 different directions they want to go.
of
There's,
course.
somebody's got to be out there saying, no, this is the kind of service that we're doing. This is how we're doing it. This is how it's going to be when they're done. There's not going to be any fingerprints on it. It's going to be test driven. The oil is going to be up to the full mark.
Yep.
We, I guess, yeah, you have to talk about your failures. We, I'm at the shop 3 weeks ago. Did happen to be in there and talking to the service team. Blah blah. Uh, technician technician comes in and says and said, "Hey, I put those wipers on." The coach, okay, it's ready to go. Whatever. So we go out there, and I don't know why. We looked at it, and they left the protective strip on the windshield wipers. The mechanic did, and the service manager asked the mechanic, said, "Well, why didn't you finish the job? Why didn't you do the job correctly, which is remove that?" He goes, "Oh, we leave those on. We let the customer take those off." And I said, "We do? Who came up with that idea?"
Right.
And it's like, "Oh, we just decided that on our own." Well, that comes to an end right now.
Yeah.
No, we're doing it our way, not your way, our way. And as a business owner, there's times when you got to get out there and put that mandate down, because you know what? If you have a great intake, you've qualified the customer, you've talked to them the whole way through, you've done this, you did blah blah blah. It doesn't matter how good your service is. If there's a fingerprint on it, or if the oil's low, or the generator doesn't start, or that light doesn't come on, it doesn't matter if they spent $1 or $10,000. That whole repair is junk, and they're going to tell everybody at the campground. Screw the review. They're going to tell 30 or 40 people at their next outing to not go back to that place because they screwed it all up
Yeah.
over a dirty fingerprint, because you didn't, the team wasn't together, or not everybody was aligned. So we want to not blame the customer a lot of times, but we want to say, "Oh, hey, they left us a bad review." Yes, there was. We could have done something. We could have prevented this from ever being posted, probably, or we could have jumped in and made sure that it didn't go bad. So if the old saying is, a fish rots from the head first. So make sure, if you're a business owner, you're looking up at you and making sure that your guys are doing, your team, your men and women that are working for you are doing what you want them to do. And we did. I have discovered that a couple of our things that we're not on track. And how wonderful it is to have an opportunity to continually be better. And I am thankful that's how we do stuff. The other thing that we were doing was we were changing oil, and as long as the oil was close, our technicians, some of them, the oil change techs, were calling it good. And I said, absolutely not. No way. There's only one okay on oil on a dipstick, and that's if it's at the full mark. If it's low, if it's not on the full mark and it's in the safe zone, you need to tell someone, "Hey, it's not at the full mark." And if we just changed oil 10 minutes ago and we've test driven it and looked for leaks and ran the motor and everything's good, and it's not at the full mark, then we have a problem. It needs to be at the full mark, not somewhere near it, at the full mark. Now, if a coach comes in and we've done our coach intake and quick visual inspection, and it's not to the full mark, it's not defective, but we need to let them know. And the customer quickly is going to go, "God, this guy, they're picky. They're more picky than me. I don't give a shit where my oil." In fact, I didn't even know that where the dipstick was. Hey, okay, they checked oil. Wow, wow, dang. Tires, we're going to write down tire dates, and it's going to be all six of them. Hopefully, they're all six the same, but I'm sure we're going to find out where two inners haven't been replaced for whatever reason, and we're going to save someone's life by doing this inspection, and we're going to we're we're letting our customer know that this is how important this stuff is, and we're proud of it. We're It's important. Here, this just hit me, and I'm sorry for being long. When I realize that we are able to communicate correctly to a customer the benefit of a Coney shock or a lithium battery or a liquid spring or whatever we're doing, and they're happy, I realize that they spent $30,000 on liquid spring because they trusted us, because they heard that that we're successful. But I'll be honest with you, I think that people feel comfortable with us because we're able to have a relationship with them and let them know that they're going to be taken care of in a way that no one else is going to take care of them. And I don't think perfection comes in there. um, we're not promising anybody we're perfect. I think that we're just promising that we're human, and that when we do screw up, we're going to take care of it. And that's a big thing. I don't start every seminar, but I tell everybody that I don't know everything, and I usually try to tell them that we screw up on a regular basis and we take care of it every time.
Well, yeah, you keep it real and raw and relevant. I mean, at the end of
Yep.
the day, we're all only human, but you guys go above and beyond. And I think that's probably one of the biggest nuggets of today, man, is you just keep it real with people.
And you know what, Brad? I appreciate that, but I don't. I know that it's viewed as above and beyond, and I'm proud of that. I am, but it's natural to us because we love what we do. Um, my wife's brother just bought a motorhome. He didn't tell me, and I'm cool. That's good. Nice coach, diesel pusher. He's either been into the shop several times or he's called and got help from stuff without me and without telling them that he's my brother-in-law. And he told my wife last week, he said, he goes, make sure you tell Keith that, man, those guys are amazing. That I've called several times, and everybody that I've talked to has taken care of me, treated me incredible, done this, done that. I'm like, huh, thank God, But that should be normal, as business principals, as business owners. To me, that's managing the customer expectation. I'm putting myself in my customer's shoes, and I'm saying, hey, how do I want to be treated? I want that exact statement, like, holy moly, this place is incredible. Thank you. You just took $30,000 from me, but thank you. A good friend of mine, Marv Flack, got me in this business. Really got me into fixing motorhomes. Marv Flack, he said it great. He goes, when you put the customer in a position of them wanting good service and wanting an incredible product, it's a whole lot easier to deliver that than if it's something that they need, then it's an expense and they have to pay for it and it's painful. And I believe that that's what we do. This RVing stuff is fun, man. Going places and dry camping or camping in an RV park, being with your friends, your family, your group, your club, it's fun. And there's that and I realize that we're a big part of that. When I can tell you that we're there to keep your fun going and fun without interrupting your fun, then yeah, absolutely. That's what we're there for.
That's such a
Sorry
cool,
for going
no,
on.
that's such a cool analogy if you think about it. I mean, you know, when my personal experience, being a full-time RVer for so long was I would get so much feedback from people that wanted to buy an RV or they wanted to go full-time or this their life's dream,
Yeah.
to go out there and explore and to be a part of it and have fun. And it's, and sometimes, I would take it for granted. I'm like, man, this is amazing, and but you hit it right on the head. You're able to keep their fun going.
Yep. and they trust us, man, and they know that they're going to get they this is what everybody says. You guys are expensive, but I don't have to bring my coach back.
That's right. Took
You
care of
fix
it.
it right. And if there's a situation where it didn't get, then we do. We we a good friend of mine, in the coach that I told him to buy. He's been bringing it to us for service for years, ever since he bought it. And we put a big, giant special order. We serviced his cooling system, changed belts and hoses, blah, blah, blah. Special order hose, we didn't mount it. We didn't put it on its mount. We clamped it. It was connected. It was doing its job, but it was moving. So he got up in 500 miles away and it came apart, and then it wasn't holding. So, it was a horrible situation. He's a good friend of mine, and he was stuck on the side of the road over a holiday weekend. Had to figure it all out on his own. Had to get his own repair guy out there to order another special part. Had to be flown. It was a giant mess, and I obviously it still bugs me today that we made that mistake, and we try hard to make sure that that kind of thing doesn't happen, so that obviously the customer and Tom gracefully, he's not he owns a business too, so he understands that stuff happens, but he didn't drag us through the reamer on any kind of review. So,
Right.
but I'm sure it challenged him, and I guess this is the theme of today's show, man. Put yourself in their shoes. And I did. I put myself in Tom's and his incredible wife, they're they're stuck at a diesel truck stop,
Truck stop.
walking their dog on a table-sized piece of grass, or dogs. I'm like, oh, just and uh, we internally we dealt with that situation. So I will tell you that that mistake can never happen from that technician again, because that technician doesn't work for us anymore.
Right. You took
So
care of it.
perfection is that, if that's perfection, then that whatever. But I say that we can't be perfect, but we have to keep putting ourselves in our customer's shoes and say, hey man, was this okay? Was it not okay?
Right. You strive for perfection. That's the best a human can do.
Yep, you're right. Yep. And hey, if you're the business principal, owner, manager, leader, if you're the one that they're looking to, then you need to have something that's clear, that's the same message every time. Your customers and your employees need to know where you stand. And
Right.
I think that my customers realize that I'm picky when it comes to repair on their motorhome, and the reason that I'm picky is so to make sure they come back. That's it. There's no honestly, I want my mechanics to work safe, and I want my customers to come back. Those are my messages that I think my people know,
Yeah.
and they can hopefully align with it somehow. They can incorporate their own beliefs in those two statements and help us make sure that we're continuing to present great repairs for our customers. Because I know, man, if our guys are leaving stuff loose, if they don't care, if there's no supervision, motivation, if there's no teamwork, one for the Gipper, then stuff is going to happen, and you're going to lose customers, and you're going to get bad reviews.
Yeah. You just I think you nailed it. I mean, you hit it
I need
right
to
on the
shut
head.
up, huh?
No, I think that was perfect, Keith. Yeah, I mean that's the end of the day. You take care of your customers, you train your employees on what you expect, and safety is utmost and top. I mean that's the pillars right there. So
Yep. And we had several more than one industrial accidents. We have survived through, and the technicians have as well. And I accept no accident as okay. There's no way. Uh, Anything, you know, a skinned knee, a stubbed toe. I don't care, man. I want to make sure that it doesn't happen again, and that we're on it and we're addressing it, and so on and so forth. And hey, that's why here if you're a shop and you work on vehicles, I'll tell you right now, you need to have a mandate of jacks, jack stands, wheel chocks. You get a great understanding of tag out, lockout, and understand what that means. And it's not a padlock on a lever it's not just a padlock on a lever with a sign that says tag out, lockout. It's a whole meaning of preventing accidents.
Absolutely.
I don't know
Usually,
how I got on accidents from customer service, but you know what? Hey, customers are aware of what's going on. They know if you run a sloppy shop and you guys are in there getting hurt. They know it. They
oh
know
yeah,
more. They know more about your business than you're giving them credit for. And they can now. They can go do the research. They and not just Google. They can go to Better Business Bureau. They can do all kinds of things. They can listen to their fellow vehicle owner. And in my case, it's their if we screw up in one RV owner's coach, he or she are going to tell everybody in the club. And there's, 300 or 400 people in every RV club or more. So yesterday at the at this rally, a guy came up to me. He goes, "Hey, you're going to be here tomorrow?" And I said, "Yep, to the rally. I'll be here. I'll do my seminar at 10:30." He goes, "I have to talk to you." I'm like, "Oh, one of those talks. Pull me aside and tell me how it went wrong and how we continue to do it wrong." And it doesn't happen often, but it's part of the customer. It's part of the experience. So he catches me yesterday after he said that. I go, "Hey man, I'm ready to sit down." And I was like, I'm ready for my ass to get kicked, and I'm going to write all this stuff down and make sure that we get your money back for this and that we fix the scratch on that. I'm ready for it. And he's like, "Hey, I just bought a new coach and I want to know what the best thing. What do you think about Liquid Spring?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, this is not a complaint. This is an opportunity." And the truth is, when it's this particular product, I love Liquid Spring. He goes, "I want to do it." I go, "Do you realize it's $30,000?" He goes, "Yeah, I want to do it." I'm like, "Here's the number. Call my guy. He's going to set you up an appointment." Bam, 5 minutes. He's done. Had an appointment made and he's coming in. So it if you're the business principal or whatever, get out there, man, get involved. This got me. This happened yesterday too. The seminar after me was a very popular company, and they sell emergency services if you're an RVer. You, Brad, when you guys were RVing, you listened to it. It's a seminar to get you. If you get injured, you get flown home. If you get injured, someone drives your coach home. Blah blah blah. This guy during the seminar sat there and talked about himself and how incredible of a CEO he used to be at these other companies, hotels and such. And I'm like, he just disconnected his entire customer. He's not even talking about his thing. And I look over and there's half a dozen people asleep, 10 minutes into his seminar. I'm like, oh my goodness. So, customer service, you need to get involved with your customers. This guy kept talking about um, uh, he was a high level CEO, and that in this situation where a customer complained, he never heard the complaint. He was so far removed from it, and he was proud that he was so far removed from it. And I'm listening and scratching my head. And then he goes, "I would tell my managers that we failed in 14 different ways if this customer got up to me in my level and started complaining to me." And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, you should want to hear that. You should have been down at a different level and asking to hear the customer experience and getting it from them to make sure that you could do something about it, instead of sitting there and saying that all of your managers are failures. 14 levels have failed because this customer found me. And I'm like, oh my goodness, dude, to me, as a CEO or owner or principal of a company, you should seek out that customer and you should ask them, "Hey, it's really easy. It's really easy. How we doing?" And they're going to tell you. They're going to tell you good or bad. So you got to be ready for it.
yeah.
And I will tell you that when we did commercial truck repair, my dad, he would not, my dad was an engineer. He wasn't a businessman. He was a reluctant businessman because he owned a truck repair place. He's like, hey man, don't ever ask the customer how they're doing. I'm like, what do you mean, Dad? He's like, they're gonna tell you, and then you got to deal with it all. And I remember that. I do, obviously, because I'm telling the story today. But you know what? I want to know how we doing.
Yeah, of
What's going on?
course.
And they will, man. Plus, here's the neat thing. We all, as business owners and principals, we think that we're perfect and we don't need to work on anything. Guess what? If you ask the customer how we're doing, they're probably going to tell you a couple things that you're going to go, oh, I didn't know that, or I didn't think about that, or I didn't remember that, or
Sure.
and they're going to give you a couple things that you can go work on and that you
Yeah.
can make their experience better. They're going to
Yeah.
tell you.
Yeah. They give you
They're an
good feedback.
asset. You know,
Yeah.
they're a big part of your business. And the thing is I'm bad because I can't remember names. I can. I guess I choose not to, aggressively. And customers look at me and they go, "You don't remember me, do you?" And I'm honest with them. I go, "I don't remember your name, but I remember you were in here, and I think you were in here for such and such." And they're like, "I was. Thank you." And I go, "Keep keep checking on me. I'm 60. Keep checking on me. My memory's fading." But they I saw it yesterday and the day before at my rally. These customers, I see them in the shop sometimes if I'm there, but the one lady, she said, "Hey, you don't remember me?" And I said, I don't remember your name and I don't remember your repair." She goes, "We were your first liquid spring customer." And I'm like, I remember. That was a big deal for us to take someone's
Sure.
entire suspension off their RV and throw this $30,000 worth of silicone suspension underneath their coach, which I that I you and I were discussing things to talk about. It needs to be one of our next topics. I drove a coach recently with Liquid Spring, and that customer is going to leave a 100-star review. It's unbelievable what it does for an RV.
Makes a huge
But
difference.
again, I'm beating the drum, but man, we're in charge of the experience with the customer. And if you're in charge of something, my personal opinion, if I'm in charge of something, I want those that are working with me on it to be empowered to where I don't have to do their work for them, and that this system, this function works without me directly interacting every single time. So what I'm saying is be in charge of your customer experience and make sure that the customer knows that they can communicate with you at any time. Empower them.
Yeah.
Have them make sure they feel like they're in charge, which I'm good with, man.
Yeah. I think that's great advice. You
It
know.
it bugs the heck out of me when we function on a group chat, and I'm sure they don't tell me a lot of what goes. I'm sure that there's a communication that goes on outside of me, certain of it. But the ones I hear, on the chat stuff, it's like, um, you know, so and so coaches, we're not done, or they're they're uh, they're catching themselves, when they're not finished, and they're making corrections, and I like it. It's like, hey, this customer's coming in 15 minutes to pick up this coach. Let's get it staged. Let's get the keys in it. Let's get it started, and make sure all the batteries aren't dead and all that wonderful stuff. They're participating in the customer experience.
Yeah. That's a huge deal. I mean, and I think that really is the topic for today. The customer experience, the online reputation, it all ties together. And I think we'll close with that is, you know, take care of your customer like you'd like to be treated, and you have laid that out exactly how you feel about it, and it serves you well. And I think
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
walk in their shoes, man. Go out to your front drive and walk in and go through the process.
Yeah, exactly. Feel what they feel.
And super critical when I see a dirty entry to a business, or their concrete is got trash on, whatever stains or something. That it's like from the very front, man. I don't care. And if I walk into a place that's nice, doesn't have to be professionally manicured or whatever, makes a big sets the stage.
Yeah, sets the tone for the whole
We
situation.
we changed our whole office to maximize the customer experience, to get a customer to be able to sit directly in front of a service advisor and have their full attention, and be connected with them, instead of back behind some mystery desk and slide open the window. Yeah, what do you want?
Right.
Why are you here?
That's funny. Well,
But I hate to keep going long, but you know what? I'm realizing it's so important, and I hope our fellow shops do this, is to give the customer an opportunity to communicate with you other than the telephone and an email. Brad, you're instrumental in helping us get permission to their SMS texting thing. It's so powerful when someone's like, the appointment they got made for the liquid spring was over a text.
yeah,
30 grand, bam. uh, and the guy, he can go on now. He can finish his day. He took care of a thing, and he's got his other. He doesn't have to think about it all day long. Sorry.
exactly. No, I think that's a huge point. You know, technology changes a lot of things. So
Yep. And your technology that you're doing for us and that you're doing for your shops, I it's absolutely enjoyable to read the leads coming in. That helps me as a business owner, business principal, knowing that we're doing the right thing.
thank you. That's great. Well, I think we'll go ahead and wrap this week's episode of RV Pro Talk. I want to thank you, Keith, for the insights. I mean, it's been super powerful, and
Thanks
hopefully,
for letting me ramble, you guys. I'm sorry. Send
yeah,
us
no,
let's ask them to send us topics that they want us to
yeah,
ramble on about.
yeah, I'll put that out there. So awesome. All right, Keith, we'll have a good weekend, my friend. We'll talk soon.
Okay, you guys, thanks.
Thanks for listening to the RV Pro Talk podcast. Listen to our show on all streaming platforms and even YouTube. And if you have a question or need a referral, reach out to us. We're here to help.